The thoroughbred is a magnificent animal, bred for speed, bred to compete, the sport of kings.
Wow, West Coast has it by 6.
It's the all-new LetsGoRacingParks.com. Take a ride into this kind of action.
3 of them are right together with 1 furlong to go.
LetsGoRacingParks.com is brought to you by the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. It's fun to see them run.
Hello everyone, I'm Pat Shiraki, and today we are at beautiful Parks Racing in Bensalem, Pennsylvania. Parks is home to the largest thoroughbred racetrack in the state, and the track is clean, it's friendly. In fact, it's really amazing. And the horses, they are some of the most beautiful athletes on the planet. With me today is Sal DeBunda, the president of the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. That's better known as the PTHA. Sal, welcome to the program.
Pat, we're glad to have you here. We're very proud of our facilities. We're very proud of our 1,200 horses and the people here who service those horses.
You know, I have have had a lot of fun today just walking past the horses. They really are just beautiful. The thing that I think is really great, though, you have such a passion for this industry, but you also are really multifaceted. I mean, one of the things that you have started out doing is that you're a highly successful attorney. Sal is the co-managing partner of the Philadelphia office of the firm Archer Law. Also, the retired chairman and current chairman emeritus of the Philly Pops. Also the executive producer of the Let's Go Racing TV show, and has been around for more than 20 years. He also is a successful owner of racehorses, a successful breeder on the board of the PTHA, and of course, you now serve as its president. Tell me this, what is it that has made you so passionate about horse racing?
Well, like a typical person, I got involved because I thought this being an owner would be fun, but I've actually gotten to know the people that work 24/7, love the animal, love the sport, and that's what really attracted it to me. And I've been doing it for over 30 years, and I love it.
It's an exciting industry to be part of. And you are really at the heart and soul of the PTHA, the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. What is that association? What does it actually do?
Well, it really basically services the owners and trainers here at Parks and the employees of those trainers. We basically put on the show here, which helps us support the local economy in Bensalem and also the state, and provides the jobs that you see here for these people who work here, both in administration and also front side at the track and also here in the barn.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about that, because right at the heart of the association really are the people who are part of the industry. Who are they? What do they do?
We basically make sure in our PTHA staff that we service all the needs. We provide identification for horses, healthcare, turning for home program, which we'll talk about, pensions. We also make sure that the licenses are appropriate, and we do everything we can to help to basically, this is our village, and we're kind of like the mayor's office of that village, and we do everything we can to take care of them.
So let's talk specifically, though, Sal, about the types of jobs that are actually here, because the PTHA doesn't just work with the horse owners and the trainers. There are so many other people who are part of the industry that keeps a place like this alive.
Personally, I need 24/7 care, which means that they need hot walkers, they need grooms, they need exercise riders, they need feed, they need shavings for the stalls, they need horseshoes done, they have chiropractors, they have dentists, they have accountants, luckily they also have lawyers that do this. There's all sorts of van drivers, all sorts of activities generate around this horse. I like to refer to it as a factory that generates jobs.
And so we're talking about trainers, we're talking about other employees that, again, are part of this village. And what does the PTHA do to help support them?
Well, we provide a structure for them. We provide a kind of infrastructure for them. We basically keep track of the fact that what owners and what horses go together. We also we work with front side to make sure that they get their rights and they get their benefits that they can, and that we make sure the races go. We make sure that the purses are handled properly. We do a lot of things to make things happen here.
So also the PTHA is very committed to the #1 industry in the state of Pennsylvania, and that would be agriculture. How do you partner with the agriculture industry
Well,
through the organization?
We feel statewide that not just the PTHA and not just parks, but there are about 23,000 jobs that are created statewide because of this industry. And that helps feed and these are basically people who are agricultural employees. And we work with them to, again, a lot of these people I mentioned are the feed and the shavings and this, they're all helping to help the agriculture business in Pennsylvania. We feel we generate basically over $2 billion a year for the agriculture industry. And it's interesting because every dollar we get from slots, we feel we give $2 back. So we think we are more than paying the dividend on the results that we're getting from them.
Yeah. Also, there's a great commitment, from what I understand, to keeping farmland pristine.
Yeah.
Speak to that.
Well, a lot of people are taking money basically to preserve their land, but the fact that there's horse racing as an alternative, because that meets their criteria, so people are now turning to taking care of horses and having horse farms as a way to get money to preserve their land and still be able to have some use for the land. And I think there's been probably over 100,000 acres that have been saved through horse racing in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
One of the key things that actually has drawn some misconceptions has been about how the industry, the horse racing industry in Pennsylvania, actually gets funded. This program that exists uses no tax dollars in Pennsylvania. There is a shared revenue process. Explain that to people, because I don't think everyone understands
Well, really two sources of revenue to the horse racing industry. One is pari-mutuel, that's the bets, okay? We get a percentage of what's left over after the win. So when a bettor gets their win back, what's left is split up among the state, the racetrack, and the horseman. We get a share of that. The other what's happened in the last 10 years, we also now get a share of slots, because when the slot legislation was coming in, we realized that the tracks were going to be competing with our horse racing. So they agreed to pay us a percentage of their slot revenues to give us to help increase purses. But we were very careful to not only take it for purses, we took it for breeders, the breeders program, we took it for health care, and we took it for pensions. Most other jurisdictions took the money for purses, but didn't do what we did in terms of helping the breeding program. So for example, of every dollar we get from slots, only 80% of it goes to handle. 16% goes to the breeders and 4% goes to the pensions and health care. We have a health care program for our trainers. We also have pensions for people who retire. And one of the reasons why that was important to us, Pat, was that we're a year-round facility, so that the people here live here, go to school here, raise their children here, and they retire here. And we felt that they needed to have year-round health care and a pension when they finish their careers.
I mean, that's a real different approach, isn't it? That Parks has that other places don't have.
Yes, because most of the other racetracks have always been transient. You'll see,
Sure.
But we are a year-round facility, and for that reason, we kind of had to change our focus and not just look about what purses were. We had to look about taking care of the community in which we're in.
But the other thing too, it would seem to me that in light of the fact that this is a year-round program and that other places are not, that this is a highly competitive industry.
So we're competing with other states to basically keep the owners and the trainers and the jockeys here and everything else that goes with it. The reason that slots even came into Pennsylvania, after they had gotten slots in Delaware and West Virginia, we were losing owners, trainers, and jockeys to those states. And basically what the legislature said, we need to make a level playing field and bring those people back. And it worked.
And so you've used the horse as kind of the centerpiece, but that horse has also created a wheel of a lot of other jobs.
Correct.
Because of the way that the industry operates.
And that it benefits the local municipality, it benefits the county, and it benefits the state. So that's where all that comes from.
And so you see this, the industry and this one horse, almost as a factory.
Yes.
So how do you explain that?
Well, to me, a factory creates jobs. Okay, they have assembly line workers, they have staff, they have suppliers coming in. It's an assembly line. If you're making Fords, you have to bring in all the supplies at the beginning. You have to have all the workers that do all the work along the way. At the end, the product comes out. It's a Ford, and then you have somebody to inspect them and drive them off and haul them off and do all that. Well, it's the same thing here. We're basically have the horse running. It needs care 24/7. So we have to have all the supplies and the personnel to get that going. You have to have people to run the race. The jockeys have to be there. You have to exercise them during the week. So there's all this work that has to be done. We have to van them to different tracks. We have to,
and you have to take care of them medically.
These are athletes that are performing, so it's not like you just let them sit there and eat grass. You have to really take care of them, and that's what creates all these jobs.
I mean, and that's everything from nose to tail, isn't it?
Correct. That is correct.
Yeah. Well, now that we've heard from Sal DeBunda, let's get more about the horse racing industry in Pennsylvania from our reporter Bruce Casella.
The sport of horse racing touches many lives. Behind the scenes here at Parks, it's like a small town, each doing their job to support the thoroughbred. For many of these workers, this is their passion, arriving at the barn 4:30 a.m., 7 days a week.
Oh, this is their lifestyle. I work with the one hot walker I work with. She has been doing it her whole entire life. And even our assistant, Jill, she has been born and raised into it. You take it out, you're taking out a whole family.
You learn to fall in love with animals. You learn to fall in love with horses. And if some of you are fortunate enough to have your dad or your mom take you around horses at the farm, or better yet, the racetrack, and you get to witness all that, then it gets in your blood. And once it's in there, you're not getting it out.
The unbeaten colt, Smarty Jones, is drawing away to win the Derby. Smarty Jones and Stewie Elliott going on to win. Smarty Jones goes up.
You've won the Kentucky Derby, the Kentucky Oaks, some other big races around the country. You could probably go anywhere and train, but yet you stay here at Parks. Why?
Well, since I came here in 1980, I was always treated well. I raised my family here. Both my boys grew up and went to school here. And this has become my roots. I like it here. It's a good racetrack. The money's well, the people are good, the racetrack's well, and it's comfortable for me.
Most people couldn't do this job. It takes a special person to handle the demands of a thoroughbred racehorse. But for those who can, it's a rewarding way of life.
When I came over here, I only came with one luggage, and now I got my wife, 4 kids, house, 2 cars. I got everything I pretty much wanted.
It's great. I mean, we have an awesome program. We have a pension plan here, thanks to everybody. We got health care. Purses are good. You don't have to move around from year to year. You can stay put and be able to raise a family and be able to keep your home and not have to worry about leaving and having something happen.
Racing horses at Parks has meant the world to many of these workers. It has helped support generations of families. They attend area schools, shop at the mall, eat at the local restaurants. It's just plain good for the local economy.
This business really supports everything we do. It starts with the owners and then me, and then it's a trickle-down effect. All the money that I have coming in usually goes right back into the horses, into the agriculture. Horses are more than just horses. They're feeding tons of families. It's supporting the whole PA agriculture.
Wow, it means a lot to a lot of people, a lot of jobs, green space, the whole breeding program, the owners that are putting all that money into just getting young horses to the races here. It provides so many jobs on so many levels, right down to your farrier, the guy who's selling hay, who's making hay out at his farm, a reason to keep the green space.
The blacksmith, veterinarians, the grooms, the trainers, the hot walkers, all of it, feed people. And the breeding association and the breeders awards and how it keeps, I mean, I don't know what the dollar figure is. I'm sure it's pretty substantial of how much income the racing industry in Pennsylvania brings in and how many jobs it provides.
Just in horse supplies, I go to Home Depot and buy paper towels by the bundles, soap, bleach, tape. I do that probably twice a month, fans when you need fans to ship with. And same with the people. They all live here, so they all shop in the general area.
The horses here at Parks are treated like gold. Their care is the very best. And like any top athlete, it's important to be healthy and happy. These workers do everything they can to make that happen.
These horses, from the time they're born, they're getting the best of everything. They're treated like little kings and queens, and every baby thoroughbred could be the next Kentucky Derby winner.
First thing in the morning, we come in and we feed the horses and who ate, who didn't, and I check all their legs and bodies and make sure that there's no swelling or inflammation or anything going on so they can go on to train and to race. Between the grooms loving them and cleaning them and grooming them every day to we have vets on hand every day to make sure that they are in perfect health. They have the blacksmiths here on the grounds that are here checking them daily. They're treated like kings and queens.
And they're off in the cotillion stakes.
If you want to see these amazing athletes run, come on out to Parks Racing. And remember what it takes to help these horses compete. Men and women working hard to make a living. These are your neighbors with a great message. It's fun to see them run. Sal and Pat will be right back with more after this.
Mike Smith working on McKenzie. McKenzie holding on. Axelrod is full out. McKenzie is clear as they come down to the finish. Baffert, Smith, McKenzie. They've done it. McKenzie.
Turning for Home is a nonprofit that has provided nearly 2,800 former racehorses with a safe retirement. The program was created through the foresight of the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association.
We all love animals, and to give back to something that helps us so much, it's a great thing.
Responding to the need for a better system that addressed the uncertain future for the retiring equine population at Parks Racing, the PTHA rallied horsemen to support the program.
These horses can do anything from hunter jumpers to western to therapeutic riding.
Turning for Home became the first on-track retirement program at a year-round racetrack.
We want to make sure that our horses that have run so well for us over the years get the great opportunity to get a new vocation.
Out of everything that we've done in Pennsylvania for racing, I think that's the thing we can be most proud of.
If you would like to help these amazing animals find a great second career and forever home, please give us a call or contact us at turningforhome.org.
So talk about the experience of being at a track like Parks for people. You know, you are a horse owner. You've been a horse owner for a long time. You know, some people may not have a familiarity with that.
It's to me, I look at it as having your own sports franchise. You basically get to pick your manager, your players, and when you go in that winner's circle, you're the only person that can go in that winner's circle because you're the owner. No one else is allowed in that winner's circle. So for that moment, your sports franchise won the World Series or won the National Football Championship. So the excitement of that, what I always like to talk about is that people who are successful in other ventures, in show business or business, when they own horses, they get more excited about a horse winning a race than they do in doubling the value of their stock in a company, because it's such it's you alone that achieve that goal when you do it, and that excitement is hard to describe unless you experience it yourself.
Right. And then, so that's one thing from the point of view of the owner. But I have to tell you, Sal, I love the track. I've loved the track since I was a young girl, and I would love to be on the rail watching the horses compete. I mean, with a $2 bet, not any more than that. Right. But how exciting, is that for so many people and for families who might be interested in coming here?
Well, I mean, I love when we have our big days like the Pennsylvania Derby or the Kentucky Derby here, that the families come out and they picnic and they're in the picnic area. And I've had the alumni of my high school, St. Joe's Prep, here, and they loved it. They first time experience. When you see a 10-year-old who picked a horse 50-1 by a name and their father bet it and they win, they couldn't be more excited. Yeah. So it's a great sport. It takes a little effort. Handicapping's not like pulling a slot machine, but the rewards are really terrific when you get them.
Yeah, and it really, you can't beat, I don't think, the excitement of all of it, can you?
Yeah. I mean, I could have gone into harness racing owner instead of that. To me, thoroughbred racing is the excitement.
And so coming up, there's the Pennsylvania Derby.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's always a really great day for families, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's one of the things that we decided, that Parks and the horsemen decided, that while we have a great facility here and great racing, we need to get more national recognition. And the way to do that is to have certain big days, and the Pennsylvania Derby is to do that. And they grade races by grade 1, grade 2, grade 3. The Kentucky Derby, for example, is a grade 1. Well, the Pennsylvania Derby started off at like $200,000 purse. grew to 250, then 500, then to $1 million. But it just recently got picked as a grade 1 now.
And so the grading of the particular race depends on the type of horses
that
they
are
have
running
here.
it, and that attracts the future horses because they can get that grade 1 behind their name for stallions, or if it's a filly race for as mares.
So, you know, we see these beautiful athletes, as I call them at the beginning of the program, and they really are spectacular, but essentially a horse races for maybe 5 years, is that right?
Very young. You usually start at 2. If they get, some are still running at 9 or 10, but very few. I mean, it's about 5 years, and that's always been a problem as an owner. What do we do with them when they basically past their useful race life, but they're still going to live to 25? And that's an issue we've had to deal with, and we've come up with a program here. We were actually the first to do it. It's become the model for others.
And it's called Turning for Home.
That is correct.
Right.
The last ride.
Right. Exactly.
And I guess it started off, Mike Bellezzi, who's the executive director here, and I, we put this together. And basically what it does is if you have a horse here and you race here, we'll take the horse, no charge. We'll retire the horse for you. We'll give it the health care it needs. We will find a home for it in all different kinds of, they could be companion horses, jumpers, hunters, all sorts of different fields. We've now almost at 2,500 horses have been saved in the 10 years we've been in existence. All of that money for that does not come from the state. There's no subsidy. It comes from the owners. Every time we race, a portion of their purse goes to support this program. The PTHA puts up money, the track puts up money, the jockeys put up money, the breeders put up money, and certain owners, besides the amount they do pay, make contributions if they won a big race or something like that. So we totally support that with our own money. These are great athletes who have given to us joy and purses, and we feel we should find a way for them to retire. We do take them back if they don't, wherever we send them to our farms, we send them back. So we take care of them for life.
So you're talking about making a commitment from the beginning of the horse's life through its racing career through the end of its life.
Yep, that's correct.
And that really, I mean, that's
and what's
really
happened is other
thing.
jurisdictions now are following that model. New York, and Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey are following the same model. But we still have the most successful and largest of that model.
How important is horse racing to the state of Pennsylvania?
Well, I think we've covered some of this, but the first thing I'll say to you is that we're the only state that has horses on their flag. So it would be a good idea to actually have horse racing since we have horses on our flag. But aside from that, I think some of the things we've talked about before would include the fact that, you know, that we help preserve land here. We help create jobs in the Commonwealth. We provide excitement for our, you know, it's like the support for the Eagles and the Phillies and the Sixers and the Flyers. We provide another alternative for fans who like horse racing to come out and see beautiful athletes running.
How difficult is it to become a horse owner?
If you come in really wanting to have some fun, I think it's a great idea. And what you need to do is find a trainer, and you need to find a trainer who has a record of success, not somebody says, well, I know somebody. You really want to try to, if you want to have a chance of succeeding, you want to get someone who has success. I usually encourage people to go in with people who are already in the business as minor partners, so you kind of see what it's about. You can kind of, for your same investment, you can probably own 2 or 3 horses rather than 1 horse. And so I find that that's the way I suggest that people do it. But there's lots of aspects of the business, and it's basically something you need to make a commitment to. You go in with the idea that you may lose it all, but you go in knowing you're going to have some fun. But I think if you really manage it properly, you don't necessarily have to lose business, as you hear people do.
Yeah. Well, what I think is interesting with how you approached your work with owning a horse. Initially, you were kind of drawn to it. It was the sport of kings, and you could imagine yourself being in the winner's circle and smoking a cigar. But then there was something else that kicked in within you that made a difference. Tell me about that.
Well, Pat, I did win my first race, which was exciting. But as I got into that, about 5 years into that, I realized I started to meet the people that worked I used to come to visit the barns. I would come and see the trainers. I'd bring them donuts after we won. So you get to interact with the people that are involved. And you really realize that they love the sport, they love the horse, but yet they really weren't properly represented. They really didn't have good benefits. They didn't have the rights. They could be thrown off at any time. And I said, I can help here. And that's how I got started. I met Mike Bellezzi. We kind of came together at the same time. We didn't know each other before then.
And this is the man who is
The
in
executive
charge of the
executive-
Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association.
He's the executive director. And we kind of came together and we made a list of things we wanted to accomplish, and we've accomplished most of them, and now we have a new list of things we want to accomplish. But I actually now enjoy the service to the horseman more than I do winning races.
And how pivotal has the association been to the success of horse racing in Pennsylvania?
Well, I believe that without the work that's been done by the PTHA under its current management, horse racing would probably not exist here. So, I mean, that's how serious I think it is, because it's kind of like we have an aging population in terms of who bets here, so we need to have innovative things. We need to really negotiate with the race. I think with slots coming in, we would have lost horse racing here unless we protected it as we did in the slots bill. I think we would not even have horse racing here.
And so that slots bill has provided revenue sharing. So
Correct.
no taxes are used to support horse racing in Pennsylvania.
That's right.
But there's a revenue share.
It comes
Explain
from the
that
CC
again. Explain that again.
Well, every dollar that's collected for slots, all of it goes to the state initially. The state then divides it up. They keep their share. They send a share to the local municipality. They send a share to the county. They send a share to the breeders. They send a share to the racetrack. They send a share to us. So they're like the conduit. The money comes to them. They keep what their share is, and they send everything back out to the people. So it actually goes through them and then comes through us. So we get our share of that money. And it depends on the handle at the racetrack here. Each racetrack it's based on their handle. And then we basically use that money to supplement purses, as I said, to pay for pensions and health care and for the breeders' money.
I was surprised to learn that, besides shoeing the horses and, making sure that the horse's heart is in good shape and all of that, that they also use techniques of acupuncture and they use chiropractic medicine to
That's
be able
correct.
to help the horses.
And swimming horses to keep, that's the way to, for example, when a horse has got injuries, but you don't want them, you got to go to the stress of being on the track, you swim them so they can get their corrected. We have to pay for that too.
Right, and so all this money then that gets generated and that gets shared with the industry all goes to pay for those kinds of services.
That's correct.
So Sal, where can we learn more about the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association, the PTHA?
Well, we have a website. Go on your computer and do that. You can call them. You can ask for Connie Yeomans, who's our office manager. She'll send you in the right direction. You can ask for Mike Bellezzi, who's our executive director. Or you can call me. I'll be glad to talk to you. I love to talk about horses and the PTHA.
Your most favorite thing about this industry is what, Sal?
Well, it's still winning, okay? But by winning, I don't just mean winning a race. It means by being able to get more and more benefits for our horsemen here. So to me, that's winning. Finding a win-win situation for our horsemen is what really what turns me on.
And down the stretch they come.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sal.
Well, there they go.